Amazon Prime has every episode of Dark Shadows. Oh wait, all of you who are still watching, this is Horror TV Weekly.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I know, I can't dance like Eliza Dushku and that, when Faith came back and got all badass in season 4 of Buffy. This was her song, but, and also my song, because I am a living dead girl.
Aren't we all same?
Yeah. Only on the inside, right? I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys. You can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one. But I am joined by my lovely co-host.
Hey everyone, this is Chauncey K. Robinson, and you can find me on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR.
And our new co-host here.
I'm the new guy, Lian Castillo. You can find me on all social media platforms at Hollywood Lian, and check out the blog. Got some good stuff on there as well.
Ooh. Well, let's just jump right into it. Amazon Prime now has every single episode of the original Dark Shadows. That is pretty well what I'm going to do when I get home. Anybody else grow up with that?
What is that, the 80s series?
No, it's like 60s.
Yeah, my dad had every
The
episode
black and
on
white
tape.
one?
Yes,
Yeah.
the black and white one.
I was looking up the trailer
Original
and I was like,
Barnabas.
I'm not sure if this is the right one.
The Johnny Depp one?
No, not the,
Not the Johnny Depp
That came up as
one.
well in the search.
and that's what sucked, is like, Tim Burton and Johnny Depp were supposed to be fans, and they even put Alice Cooper in the movie, which was the only saving grace. And but yeah, like the movie was nothing like the show. No matter the characters had the same names, but and they happened to be vampires and witches and stuff. But the show was actually a soap opera back in the day, and it inspired stuff like Port Charles.
Exactly,
and,
Port Charles came about from it, and it was this whole like supernatural soap opera thing, which was so cool. It was cheesy, but it was like, I don't even think Barnabas, who's like the lead vampire, was even on in the very beginning. He came like a few episodes later, right?
Yeah, he comes like in episode 3 or 4, I believe, and he is the main character, but that was so interesting how he came in later and was sort of like the main character. But I guess it's sort of like, General Hospital and these things, like Luke Spencer, who was known as the main character, didn't even come in until years later. But yeah, like you had Angelique the Witch, who was honestly my favorite character. She was such a badass.
I grew up watching it. Well, the reruns. I mean, I'm not like, but my father loved the Dark Shadows, and it always had this cool opening scene where the water was coming in over the rocks, and it'd be like that real creepy.
It was
Is
very.
this like the show, like it's first of its kind?
I feel like it was. I feel like it was the first soap opera that had the supernatural, at least American-wise, anyway.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is it really inspired just about everything supernatural on television after that. Like, because it was one of the first, supernatural type shows, and also it was a daytime soap opera.
Exactly, so it came out every day.
In the beginning, as you brought up and you were talking about the waterfall, I'm like, Twin Peaks had to have taken their sort of beginning from that, because it was very similar in the creepy, just sort of like town, because that was what it was, is really, it was very much a soap opera, and then it's about a town. These people just so happen to be vampires and witches and werewolves. And
and they've done like some similar, like, I think there was a reboot one time on Sci-Fi. It was supposed to be like a movie, and they were trying to relaunch the series, but it didn't really take. But with this one, I mean, it just has so much history with it. So it's really great in a world right now, or an era where we have so many reboots, to actually just be able to watch something that is just, quality what it was originally.
And two, like, I wasn't aware that they even had every episode on like DVD or anything, because my dad taped all of them. Same. So he had all of them just on his personal VHS, and he would go to like, my dad was like obsessed with it, so he even drove all the way from Dallas to Atlanta to go to conventions.
VHS.
And it's just like, it was such an iconic show. And I know Patrick Fabian, the actor, he was better known for Better Call Saul and stuff like that. His wife created a show, Dropping the Soap, that was inspired by a lot of soaps, but as you said, his character is a vampire inspired by Dark Shadows. It's a cool little indie show with Jane Lynch, if you guys want to check it out. I went to the premiere last year, but we got to talk about Dark Shadows a little bit, and I'm glad to be doing that again, because it was such an important part of my childhood.
Yeah, it's an important part of like pop culture, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, because as I brought up Port Charles, I mean Michael Easton's character, he was vampire Caleb. Michael Easton has actually played 5 different characters in that universe, which is funny. But yeah, like it was a fun little spin-off while we had it.
Wow. I guess.
Shade.
It was all right.
All right. Well, we'll get on to reviving other things. Monster Vision may be coming to Shudder TV. And apparently you can send your comments to Joe Bob Briggs about whether you want this to happen.
Yeah, they're kind of filling it out right now. Like there's this whole thing where Monster Vision, I think it used to come on TNT or TBS.
Yeah, because
isn't that like the marathon of all the monster movies, or what is that?
Yeah, so it was very similar, kind of like Elvira, in style. Joe Bob Briggs would pretty well have like a monster movie, and it was around the same time as Tales from the Crypt. So this was the early 90s when Jason and Freddy and all that was still really big. Yeah. And yeah, it was on TNT because I remember it with Highlander is how I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There only be
Oh
one.
my god.
Yes.
Highlander.
That's where my name thing comes from.
I got it.
I was like, I love terrible TV from back then.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. And I think it's really cool that Shudder is trying to fill out if people actually want this right now because, horror's coming back in a way. It's getting a rejuvenation in terms of different shows and takes. And with that, it's going to come the shows that comments on it, such as this show and others. But with Monster Vision, whether or not that's something, like they had, what was the other one that people, when they watched, it was like Theater 3000 or
Mystery
something?
Science Theater 3000.
I remember that.
And it's come back already.
And that's come back on Netflix already. So it's not out of the ordinary that Shudder will be trying to do that. They already have, I think, another talk show on their device.
Everything's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
Shudder has like a real quick sort of thing, like it's Shudder Presents, I think, and they have a host who just kind of talks about what's on their app, which is great. It's Shudder curated content. That's what it is. And yeah, but with Joe Bob Briggs' Monster Vision, that was on cable, which, as we say, is dying. But to bring it to Shudder as the style in which it was, is I feel like they're going in the right direction. Because, too, we already have The Twilight Zone with Jordan Peele on CBS All Access. So basically, you're going to get your horror on your apps.
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome. I mean, I'm more partial to Elvira. That was my people.
Oh yeah, I love her.
But
I
I think
Elvira.
but I think this will be cool too because it had a fan base, and I think with this coming back of horror stuff, you're gonna need that kind of commentary. So
Everything's coming back, not just like horror on TV, but horror in movies, and they're bringing movie concepts to television shows as well with like Scream and just way too much. And Riverdale also is just mixing in like some fantasy and some real life, not just pop culture, but it's getting dark as well, which I like.
Yeah, because we can just go ahead and talk about Riverdale. Riverdale is going to adapt Carrie the musical for one of their episodes, and I love Riverdale. By the way, I'm kind of
everyone
upset.
is so cute on that show.
Like that's the thing is I was upset though when I looked to see who everybody was playing, and I'm like, I wish Betty was Carrie. I'm like, yeah, because Betty is
here's
fun
the thing.
crazy.
Can you explain this to me? I'm so confused. Like I saw the show and I'm like, this is Archie Comics, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's sexy
it's like
Archie.
it's a dark take on the Archie.
I'm like, there's a
comic books.
Jughead, and
Yeah.
Jughead is like hot. Like I feel creepy, but he is an adult, so it's not. It's okay.
Well, they changed. The only thing, I mean, I know they've changed a few things because he was supposed to be asexual, and that was
In the
whole
comics,
thing.
yeah.
He is. He's asexual in the comics, and they kind of, and that was a little loss of representation there. I mean, I know everyone likes Bughead. I don't want that's Buddy. And
They are
I don't want anyone
adorable.
attacking me. I get it. But they did kind of, and they're supposed to be. I think we keep talking about the fact that they're supposed to be supernatural somewhere coming into this show.
In Riverdale?
Yeah, in Riverdale.
Yeah, we've been kind of waiting for it.
Yeah, like Twin Peaks. Like it's supposed to be some sort of like supernatural, and they have not revealed that yet. Maybe something's gonna happen with the Carrie musical.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping because I considered Riverdale to be David Lynch meets John Hughes, and we've got it's very Twin Peaks season 1 where there's a lot of like mystery and stuff. They haven't really delved into the supernatural, but I kind of wanted Jason Blossom to be a zombie. A lot of us speculated that, and they didn't do it. And then now they've got the Sabrina spinoff that is clearly going to be magical. When are we going to get magic on here?
Yeah, I think it would help the show too. I mean, I know when I look at it on Twitter, there's a love-hate relationship with this show. It didn't. I mean, its fan base did grow. I think in relation to Netflix. Because when it came on Netflix, that's when a lot of people caught up on the first season. So when it came back for the second season, it did really well. But I think it's not catching on as, it's not as big of a phenomenon as, say, like, The Vampire Diaries was.
Yeah, I feel like all these shows, they latch on, they get a good audience, and if they're not bringing it right away with, just like the magic and the darkness, and, the retention rate these days is really, really hard. So I think people fall off. So, I mean, even I fell off, honestly. Like, I was watching Riverdale. I wanted it to get dark. I wanted it to get juicy, and then it didn't.
Hey, this year it was like Zodiac. Now it's sort of switched to like Manson murders. Now we've got like, I don't want to spoil anything, but like there's some cool stuff with the blossoms, like deep in the dark again.
Yeah, like I want it to get really dark.
Yeah, because Cheryl will be playing Carrie, which is interesting.
Yeah, I like that character. It's probably like my favorite one.
Yeah,
so
Cheryl
far.
is a fun character. And I love that Alice Cooper is Mrs. White. And there was a part of me that felt really dumb because I was like, Alice Cooper. Oh, wait, no, it's Betty's mom. And I love Majan, but I still love the real Alice Cooper more.
Throwback, man. All those actors on Riverdale. Awesome.
Yeah. And I think with the Carrie musical, is it supposed to be like what I was reading? It's supposed to be they're actually going to just like the episode itself is going to be the musical, or is it more like, okay, there's drama going on with the regular characters and then the musical's happening
At the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
So I'm just kind of wondering, and because I know the Jughead character is supposed to be like doing some sort of behind the scenes thing with it, like as though it's a making of the documentary of making Carrie.
Yeah, and that seems very Jughead-like, because he's always the one sort of documenting everything. I mean, he does the narration of the episodes, and that'll be interesting because, too, as I was curious as to, they're going to sing the songs from the Carrie musical, is what they're saying.
There's
but
gonna
it's
be
like,
Actually,
yeah,
a really
there's
good
a lot.
musical.
Yeah, you saw it, right?
I saw it over Halloween here in downtown Los Angeles. It was a
fun.
fantastic cast. Lots of celebrities in the audience. It was a very, very well-rounded musical. I really liked it.
Awesome. And it's kind of, I mean, when did it come out? When did the Carrie music come out?
Carrie musical's been out for quite a bit of time. It's gotten more notoriety and more popularity as the years have come on. And, Halloween gets more popular every year, I feel like. It's always been my favorite holiday.
Oh, mine too.
It's one of
But I
my
feel like
faves.
everyone's now starting to catch on to the fad of, like, Halloween being cool. And I'm like, Halloween's been cool, y'all.
Yeah.
And I think they're supposed to be doing 11 songs. So it's like, okay, so there's 11 songs. It's 45 minutes usually. So that's why I'm wondering if it's going to be the total musical and nothing going on with the regular plot line, which I'm fine with because I just think it's a real like weird shift for a show that's still trying to find its footing.
I think they'll insert some music in there. I don't think it'll totally turn musical. I think that would turn everybody off.
I don't know. I mean, they're trying everything with this show.
Yeah, Riverdale is throwing whatever sticks, and I kind
They
of like
brought
it, though.
Andy Cohen onto the cast. They're really trying.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying. Like, it's so like this show with so much content being out there in the world, and for them, it's kind of like I still feel like, and I know I keep saying, I just feel like they haven't found their rhythm yet.
Well, they're
Well, I'm
competing with
enjoying
shows like, 13 Reasons Why,
Yeah.
and like those
Which
kind
I'm
of.
wondering why it has a second season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I stopped
Yeah, I'm
watching
like,
after
isn't
the
it
third
about
episode.
a kid killing himself? I
It's
mean,
about
how do
a
you go?
young girl who kills herself, and
Yeah.
she's the woman who plays her is supposed to be in the sequel. And I don't mean to sound weird, but it's like, how are you in the sequel?
Well,
the second season?
It's
Alexander
weird.
Skarsgård's supposed to be in Big Little Lies, even though, spoiler alert,
Once
he
again.
dies.
Once
But
again.
he can be in anything as long as he wears little to no clothing. Okay.
Wait,
Who are we
Like,
talking about here?
Alexander Skarsgård from True Blood. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That scene in Big Little Lies.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fan.
I know, me too. But I could talk about that all day and show everyone my computer.
Hashtag prosthetics.
But yeah, as art master Austin Prophet brings up in the chat, I wish they'd bring back Charmed. Well, the real
Yes,
show. I know.
Charmed. Bring
the
back
real
Charmed.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I love Charmed.
Yeah, and that's the thing is there is a Charmed reboot, quote unquote, happening, but no one from the original cast is behind it, and no one
Well, they
here.
can't. No one would
Yeah.
get behind it. None of the girls are going to come back on.
Well, yeah, because it's basically using their name, their hard work, and the plot line and just like absolutely nothing to do with the real show. Holly Marie Combs and Alyssa Milano, read their Twitters, guys. They got a lot to say about
Yeah,
this.
they
Yeah,
were
they
throwing a
hate
lot
each
of
other
shade.
too, don't they?
Well, I think they've come like
Yeah.
since then. I've read that they've kind of come back together. Not come back together totally, but like
An
bygone-
understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think Shannon Doherty was the problem on there, but
I actually
yeah,
love
I know.
Shannon Doherty,
I do
but she's
too.
always difficult on the
Because
show.
Mallrats is my
That's what you
favorite
hear.
movie. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Heathers.
I mean,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
they're saying there's going to be a reboot and there's going to be a feminist plot line, which is kind of a diss to the original series because the original series, you don't have to label everything. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to say this
That's
is feminist.
true.
I mean, it was a show back in its time, which was only like what, some 10 or so
Yeah,
years
it
ago.
wasn't
It
that
was
long ago.
showcasing strong women.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were showcasing strong women. They were the main characters. They took hold of their own destiny. That was a feminist plot.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know why they decided to use those words other than they are trying to sell something
Clickbait.
with an agenda. And
Well,
it's
you know how
like,
these
that's
days
crappy. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that the stars of the original, that hopefully is the only Charmed by then, were smart enough to speak up and say that we don't stand by this. This is garbage.
Yeah. I'll still watch though,
Yeah.
just to see what it's about. I mean, you got to check it out if it does. I mean, come on, guys.
Well, if it's Charmed,
Yeah.
I'll check it out for a quick second.
Just to see what
Yeah.
it's about.
Just to see if they do it justice. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
I mean, we
Yeah.
are consumers.
Yeah, I guess we have to watch one episode just because it's our job, but I'll illegally download it so they get nothing for it.
I give everything a chance. Even if
Yeah.
I just watch like one episode, I'm like, you know what? I gave it a shot.
That's what I did with Riverdale.
I gave Riverdale a shot, and I'm like, who are these
I don't
really
know what's
attractive
going on.
people?
Yeah, I mean, and KJ Appa, Archie, is just as attractive in
Yeah,
person,
They
guys.
all look so
Yeah.
like different. I mean, they're not all traditionally good looking. They're just all very unique looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But, speaking of things that are actually a good reboot, or we hope, is What We Do in the Shadows. The funny thing is they'd already teased the spinoff,
Yeah.
but this is actually remaking What We Do in the Shadows, the vampire plot line, not the cops. So it's interesting to see that we're getting two shows from this funny movie.
Yeah.
Because FX has actually ordered a pilot for this one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty excited because once again, one of the creators behind it is so awesome.
Yeah, Taika Waititi.
Right,
is
like my man from Thor and other great
Yeah, he's
plots
wonderful.
and everything. And actually, if people want to see the short film that inspired like the full length movie and eventually this, you can watch it on YouTube as well. And I watched it again recently, and it was just as funny as it then as it is now. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I just wonder. So this is coming to FX, and is the spinoff? I guess I'm wondering if the spinoff's gonna find a home.
Yeah, because it hasn't been announced where that's going yet that I've been able to find. But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted because these both sound like great shows.
Yeah, they sound really fun. I mean, it's a good comedy. It's horror comedy, which is always fun. And I guess I'm wondering, if people are gonna get the humor and everything behind it. But yeah.
Yeah, Art Master Austin Prophet brings up a good point. Just kind of going back to Charm a little bit. They should have just done a spinoff with Chris and Wyatt Hollowell. I think that'd be awesome. The guy who plays the older version of Wyatt Hollowell, though, is now on General Hospital because he's dating one of the stars of the show, Laura Wright. And he looks like a young Ryan Reynolds. Fun fact. Just look him up. He's pretty. But yeah, speaking of other things coming to TV that are pretty cool, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are doing a horror comedy series called Truth Seekers. Say that 5
Nice.
times fast.
I love the truth, so put
Yeah.
me on it.
Well, and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are so good at horror comedy. I mean, Shaun of the Dead is one of the best,
Oh, yeah.
horror fun movies to come out in a long time. And, it was very Evil Dead-like. And I guess they're like, Evil Dead works on TV, so why can't we do this?
These guys are
Yeah.
amazing too. I love Simon Pegg.
Yeah, I love Shaun of the Dead, and
Yeah.
Simon Pegg is just always awesome. I remember from Star Trek and other films that
Yeah.
he's done. So this should be interesting what they do with this. I guess once again, it's another horror comedy. We're seeing a lot of those come out.
I'm glad because I love that. I mean, I watched Lucifer and Ash vs. Evil Dead, Stand Against Evil. That's my genre.
But this one doesn't have to do with vampires, though, right?
Well, it's paranormal.
Yeah.
Paranormal.
Truth seekers when it comes to the paranormal. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, looking for, like, as you say, you watch the real ghost shows, right?
I do. I watch all the reality ghost
The
shows.
real ghost shows.
Yeah.
The real ghost shows. None of this boogeyman stuff. We're talking about the stuff you can't see.
You can never see. The stuff you can never see.
Exactly.
Hey,
Ghost
I've seen it.
Adventures. I love the Dead Files. I'm a huge fan of Amy Allen. She follows me on Twitter. I watch all the ghost shows. I got all the guys' books, Paranormal Lockdown, Paranormal Witness, Celebrity Ghost Stories, hopefully I'll be on that soon.
I know. I love the celebrity ghost stories. I will admit I watched that because I've seen the
it's
Alice
so
Cooper
good.
episode.
Isn't there there's a BET series now, too, where
Really?
they're like, it's like scared, famously scared
Oh
or
my
something.
God. Yes, I saw.
Yeah.
I've seen that as well. So if you want to recap
I
on
kind
that.
of want to start watching that.
Yeah.
Because
It is
looks like-
absolutely
Oh, yeah.
hysterical. There's a drag queen on there, Alaska 5000.
Alaska 5000.
And she is in there, and all these guys are like, "Who is this drag queen? She's
And I think she's doing
hysterical."
really well,
Oh,
too.
she's so good.
Yeah.
she's so good. She won
People were
RuPaul's Drag Race
underestimating her.
All Stars, and she came in there, and people were like, "What is she gonna do?" But she's actually been
Yeah.
kikiing with everybody.
Kiki with everybody.
With the Simon Pegg show, they're doing a paranormal investigation, which is interesting, but it's kind of like there's so many of those out right now.
Yeah, like Supernatural
There's so
is
many.
very much like
Everyone's
that.
investigating paranormal.
Yeah, because the CW ordered. Speaking of that, the CW ordered a pilot for a supernatural detective drama
Another
called
one, of
Dead
course.
Inside. I mean, I thought it was my show, but I'm like, oh well. But yeah, I'm like, they kind of already have a supernatural detective drama
Yeah.
called Supernatural.
Yeah. I mean, it is reaching its end,
Yeah.
though. So, and that was
Don't
more
say
family.
that.
I know. But
Bless
it
me.
is. And, that was like more. They were also trying to find the family drama. Like, some of this is like straight up procedural, it seems, in terms of like each day monster of the week. At least this CW show sounds
Yeah,
like.
that's what that sounds like. Because, like, Superstition on Sci-Fi with Mario Van Peebles is similar to Supernatural, and they have a monster of the week, and they investigate and with the family, but
they
it's
stay
very
in a town.
different. Yeah, and that's the thing, is they stay in one spot. It's not, like, going all over. And, yeah, this seems like a partner, and her partner is dead. And
Yeah, it's her brother.
Yeah.
He basically, she survived an explosion. He didn't. He died, and he was like a hotshot detective.
Yeah.
So now he's a ghost, and he's helping her investigate stuff, and she's finally living her best life.
What show is this?
This is the CW
show. Yeah. This is the CW pilot, the plot line that we're like, I mean, it's very similar. It's almost like Dead Like Me, Dexter, a little bit like that, but it's going to be on the CW. I don't think we're going to get like the super dark like those shows were. And it's like, oh, as I say, if we can only pick a few supernatural detective dramas, could we have... I'll take the Simon Pegg one and Supernatural season 29. Okay.
Oh, geez.
CW.
Yeah, like, keep
Didn't they
going.
do Ghost Whisperer? CW?
That
I thought that was CBS.
I think it was
Oh,
CBS.
okay,
yeah.
the wrong C. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's the Old
CBS
People
actually
Network.
owns CW, right? Like, they're connected, aren't they?
No, just Supergirl was owned
Supergirl,
by
that's why I got
WB.
confused, yeah.
But yeah, like CW is just owned by Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, yeah.
But yeah, sometimes they share shows.
Yeah, I mean, with the paranormal activity stuff, I like the premise of this.
Yeah.
I think it's different. I think it's cool. But we're gonna have another sibling duo like Supernatural, but one is
Yeah.
alive and one is dead.
that's kind of
Which
cool.
is interesting.
And one is a
Yeah.
woman, which is
Yeah.
cool. That's a good thing in representation. So I'm always down for that.
Yeah, I mean, the living detective is a woman, which is nice. Yeah, because, we do have Wayward Sisters coming up, which is the all-female Supernatural spinoff. So, yeah, that's yet another one that is a group of women going around investigating Supernatural.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
It took that long for them to do a Supernatural spinoff. with all
Yeah,
those
considering it's
characters.
season 13 and they're just now getting one.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, which characters do you spin off? Because they're
they
all
still
awesome.
need- yeah.
And you can't have Cass. He belongs with Dean, even if they can never really requite their love.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to talk about Destiel too much because people in the chat get mad. But whatever. Speaking of things that might make people mad but sounds really cool to me, Stephen King pitched a Law & Order Vampire Squad spinoff on
Another
Twitter.
investigation
Yeah.
plot with vampires, and I think people, and I'm always for whatever Stephen King wants to do. I just love him. I love all his weird, morbid ideas. And this one, people asked, if this is going to be the vampires are the police or the police or investigating vampires. He actually said, I was hoping the other
way,
answer,
yeah.
and he actually said it's going to be the police investigating vampires.
Because
and I'm like, I
was-
want a vampire police officer.
Well, that's what Angel was kind of that, because he was a vampire detective.
That's
and
true.
Forever Night was kind of like exactly like Angel and before it. And Grimm, like, he was sort of like supernatural
I
guy.
loved Grimm.
Yeah, I liked Grimm too. Like,
Nobody else liked Grimm.
There's a few fans here,
long
and
did
my
it
mom
stay
loved it.
on?
How many seasons were there?
Grimm was like 5 seasons, I think. It
seasons.
went pretty long.
That
I
is
mean,
pretty
yeah,
good.
it was good.
I fell off after I don't last very
Yeah.
long.
You
If
just
it's
give
not,
up.
yeah, if it's not reality, like it just pulls me away. Like it's got to be hot the whole time for me to stay on. You know what I mean? If not, the reality sucks me in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's been so many Law and Orders. I mean, Law and Order SVU.
That's the best one.
Yeah, it is. Law and Order Criminal Intent. Then there was like Law and Order. They
Trial
tried to
by
do
Jury,
Trial
yeah.
by Jury. So, I mean, I think if we could get a supernatural Law and Order, I just kind of wonder what.
I think it sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'm just wondering what universe could it exist in, because you can't have crossovers. See, that's the one thing. You can't have people suddenly, because it's like vampires can't exist in the other places.
Yeah, well, hold on. Like, it could, because Elliot Stabler needs... Christopher Maloney has to come back to the Dick Wolf universe and be Elliot Stabler, but investigating vampires. Because, you know, Happy is sort of meant to be limited and doesn't take up a lot of his time, so we could just get him back and have Cassidy, Dean Winters, be his partner, and then this would be the best show ever, because Cassidy was on SVU, like, at 2 different points, and he dated Olivia. But yeah, I had to explain that. But Dean Winters is awesome. But just get the people from the Law and Order universe. You already have them. Make them partners. Make them investigate vampires, and then I would watch. But speaking of other things that are good mashups, Art Master Austin Prophet in the chat brings up they should do a Supernatural meets Ash versus Evil Dead, and I'm like, yes, the Delta versus Baby, and that would be amazing.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, no,
I'm
it's
just
your
kind of
fantasy.
because I mean, once again, I guess like with like the technicalities, it's like Ash versus Evil Dead has a different sort of evil with the zombies and stuff.
The Deadites,
versus,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Deadites don't exist in. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a stickler for universes because
Yeah.
it's like they have different kind of monsters.
Hey, they crossed over Bones and Sleepy Hollow, so I'm pretty sure at
Yeah,
this
that
point
was
anything
weird.
is possible.
Yeah, there's no limit these days. They'll bring anything into the mix.
But yeah, me and Stephen King need to get with Dick Wolf on our plans for this show and make this
You're
happen.
gonna cast.
Because right now they only have Law and Order SVU, and I get that the Chicago stuff is Dick Wolf's, but you know, Jesse Spencer doesn't even have an accent on Chicago Fire, and I would rather have Tommy back in some form on the Arrowverse. So I'm sorry, those need to go, and then make this show.
Okay.
Wouldn't you guys rather have the Stephen King
course.
vampire thing than these Chicago shows? Yeah.
I actually never watched Chicago
Yeah.
Fire and all.
I never watched Chicago Fire, but
I watched like the first episode, and Jesse Spencer didn't have an accent, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, and it was originally a spin-off of what was it? What was Chicago?
There's
Fire?
Chicago PD, Fire, Med, all sorts of.
I didn't even know there was a spinoff. Really?
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah.
started because
There's-
one of the characters was on another show.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of things happening.
And I
in
don't know which
Chicago.
one was first, and they're all shot there. You know, when he used to shoot all Law and Orders in New York, but yeah, they've only got SVU left.
I
But-
almost watched Chicago Fire for Taylor Kinney. He was
Yeah, he
close
was
enough
cute.
to make me watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down. So I'm down. I vote yes for this Stephen King show.
Me too.
Although
Yeah.
eventually they have to befriend a vampire, and he has to be their informant, and you know he's part of the team. 'Cause
Yeah.
I
She
think-
wants a vampire.
I want a
ladies and
vampire
gentlemen.
investigator. I'm tired of these humans.
Yeah, like that would be
Jeez.
interesting.
So
Like
many
he's
of
their informant on the vampires, and he's a vampire. He's like a
Yeah.
a bad vampire to
Yeah.
them. But yeah, I like that.
I don't know who would play him though. I don't know. Be a
Yeah,
hot vampire.
Alexander Skarsgård. No, he's the hottest vampire there is.
He is a good-looking vampire.
Yeah. I should not talk about Skarsgård because then I lose my train of thought. Castlevania season 2 to hit Netflix this summer.
Yes.
I didn't see the first season.
It's
I
really
haven't
good,
either,
and
yeah.
it's super short. I mean, that was the one thing. I watched it, and I was able to watch it like in the whole afternoon. It wasn't like the whole night or anything. And it's a really good adaptation of the video game series, which it originally was, and the episodes are super short. They feel like they're maybe 15 minutes.
Really?
15 to 20 minutes, not even that long. They're not even an hour, so you can really go through them. So I'm happy that they finally got a turnaround, that it's coming back in, and it's blood, it's gore, it's vampires, Dracula's in it, and it has and they've only like scratched the surface of the mythology and stuff behind it. So it's really exciting. I like anime when it's done well, and that's what this is. So I'm excited for it.
Huh.
I think fans have been wanting it. I mean, it already has a fan base, so.
Well, if it has a fan base, they're going to bring it back and try it out.
And too, like if it's based on a video game, you already have that established base. And if the season 1 already did well on Netflix, why not?
Yeah, and if anybody wants to get into it, they can just catch up super quick.
Yeah, like you say, it's really easy. It's kind of like those CW Seed shows I always forget to watch.
Yeah, and it is, Ivan is saying it's insanely dark. It is super dark. There's a lot of religious themes if you're kind of skeevy about that, but most of the things with vampires and all that have some
stuff
biblical
like that.
references.
Yeah,
So.
goes hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Dracula 2000. I'm one of the few people that loves that movie and all the ridiculous biblical references. That
Remind me of Dracula 2000.
It's where Gerard Butler is Dracula, but Dracula is Judas. And it goes all the way back to that. And like
Gerard Butler. I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, it is a good trashy film because Nathan Fillion plays a priest, which is one of the many reasons that I love it so much. And it's got Johnny Lee Miller. It's got a good cast. Yeah.
The guy from Darkest Hour, who he was in a Dracula movie.
Yes, Gary Oldman. He's in my favorite Dracula movie with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder.
I was mixing up the two.
Yeah.
Okay, because in that one I remember him distinctly yelling, "He was licking me!" Like that was the only line I ever remember. I was like 10 probably.
Yeah.
Just like, what is this? Oh, it's vampires.
Yeah, like
that was my
Keanu Reeves
introduction.
in that movie is so funny. Like,
Wait, what movie are you
love
guys
Keanu.
talking about?
Like, it's just called Dracula, and it's Gary Oldman, and it's like actually you'll probably see it as Bram Stoker's Dracula because it's more of like a direct adaptation of the original novel. And Gary Oldman plays Dracula, and then Winona Ryder is Mina, and
I
Keanu
think I've
Reeves
seen
is
it
in
because Winona Ryder sounds really. I think I've seen it.
No.
Vampires will never go out of style.
Ever.
That's just,
Oh, yeah.
And that's the whole. I mean, sometimes you get tired of them, and sometimes I'm like tired of hearing about vampires. But then I hear about a new show, and I'm always willing.
But they come back, they come in and out, and they come back and they're like different, and they.
Yeah.
As long as they don't sparkle, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the style of it. You can always play around with what kind of vampire. You can have sparkly vampires.
Yeah.
You can have dark vampires, and I think unlike werewolves and other
That's my sort
monsters,
of.
Yeah.
You like werewolves?
Like I never got into the sparkly vampires. Sorry, guys.
It's gross.
But I'm more like the traditional blood-sucking, neck-biting kind of vampires. I like that sort of aspect of it, and I love religious references. I think it goes hand in hand.
always-
Yeah, you'll like
Yeah,
Dracula
it's
2000.
fun.
then.
Yeah.
It's good trash.
Winona, I think I've seen it. Winona Ryder. That sounds really, really familiar. But there's so much stuff in my head, I can't really keep track.
Yeah. Well, and it may be because you've got the Walking Dead wine from.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, it's like I didn't realize they'd already had some out with Lot 31.
I didn't know there. Yeah,
Yeah.
The
did
label's really, really cool.
actually. Right.
Yeah, because there's this Dead Man's Hand or 1,000 Criminals. It's something like that already does that. The augmented reality where you scan your phone on it and it tells you all about the wine. It's like it's really cool.
It's 19
Yeah.
crimes. I actually on my Instagram, y'all, at Miss Chauncey K, you can see a video I did because I collect those. The 19 crimes did one, and basically and they did it with like the Irish uprising or whatever.
That's cool.
And basically, it's fiction. Some of them are real characters, and some of them are fictional criminals. And you put there's an app you download, and you put your camera in front of it, and it comes to life and tells you a story.
Oh.
Or what,
Yeah.
And they have like a few things that they say about how they got captured and how they got caught. And it's really cool that The Walking Dead is doing this now. And I think it's actually a little bit cooler because one of the things this does is that if the bottles are next to each other, you put it, the characters fight each other.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm like, so the bottles interact. They didn't do that. 19 Crimes didn't have that.
Well, I'll try to see if I can get us some of that wine so we
I
can
would
play
be
with it
down
on here.
for that.
Yeah.
Please get the blood red blend. It sounds delicious.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I do know some people are like, okay, have they jumped the shark that we're getting wine of The Walking Dead? And people are like, can we
might
get some
as
better
well.
seasons?
There's
Like, that's what
Game
some
of
people are
Thrones
saying.
beer, guys, and it's delicious.
They have everything Walking Dead. I
Yeah.
mean, this past Halloween when I went to the Halloween store, I mean, you could literally get like the axe, like, you know what I mean? They just have like every little thing from the show. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I have my own Lucille. We all dressed as Negan for The Walking Dead. You know, that's the thing, is it's become such a normal part of the day. I mean, actually, on my Instagram, I took a picture of, there was a coloring book of The Walking Dead at Michael's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is for kids now? I mean, my little nephew, like, plays with Walking Dead toys, but he has bad parents. Like, I mean, just like, no offense, Mom, like my parents, we played with Spawn toys, but I'm like, that's not normal, is it? I guess it is the new normal.
Well, adults can do coloring too.
Yeah.
And these days, when something's successful, you know, they just run it till it's dry. They suck everything out of it. If that means merchandise that they could slap on a lunch pail box or a water bottle or a fake bloody axe
Pretty
for
soon,
Halloween.
We're gonna have Negan and Friends on Cartoon Network. That's a children's show. Like, oh damn, I just gave you an idea, didn't I, Robert Kirkman?
Yeah, I'd be excited if anyone's like, you know, listening and they want to do their own and let us see what bottles they get. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you get any of this wine and you want to send it in to us, you know our Twitters, and we'll give them at the end of the show as well. And then maybe we can post them up here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll do a little wine and review.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have to. We should review whether or not the wine's good.
I do know people at Skybound. I may be able to make some calls.
There we go. There we go.
All right. I think that is it for the news I had this week. I did watch this week's Lucifer. They finally had a new episode with the reveal a while back that Tom Welling's character was in fact Cain, the first murderer. And this week he has asked Lucifer, he sort of revealed he wasn't the Sin Eater. That was, you know, of course, his friend, and, you know, it was kind of sad that it went that way, but that's why he had to kill him. But he's not really this bad guy, even though he was the first murderer, but he wants Lucifer to kill him because he's lived as long as, you know, the Cain and Abel story, forever on this earth, and he just wants to die, wants to go away, wants to be done. And that's why he was in this shootout with Chloe. He warned them that they were coming, and this is why he got shot, and he thought that Chloe was his weakness like Lucifer's, and that he could in fact die. But when he didn't die, he realized that there's got to be some other way. And Lucifer is a little upset that he put Chloe in danger, but he kind of likes him because, you know, he was Superman after all.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I think I will help you out. Because in this whole episode, Lucifer is trying to be a better person and a better friend to Chloe and making it about her. And this is sort of every episode of Lucifer is Lucifer coming to this childlike realization that his actions and things affect people, or are learning things that, you know, normal people probably already know, that it shouldn't always be about you. But yeah, this is what brings him to the conclusion that he should help Cain die. And I know that sounds dark, but it's Lucifer, and he always finds a way.
He is the devil.
Yeah, exactly.
His name is Lucifer. So.
And there was a funny little subplot with Lucifer's brother, Aminadel, who thinks he has chlamydia, and as he told the doctor, I can't have chlamydia, I'm an angel. And the doctor just like, yeah. It's pretty funny. D.B. Woodside is hilarious. And then it's, of course, revealed that, you know, he's been sleeping with Dr. Linda. Like, they did actually consummate their relationship, and now Mazikeen knows. So, that's the thing with Maze sort of figuring out that they did, in fact, consummate their relationship, despite her not wanting to lose her friends, because she and Aminadel were together. Mazikeen is Satan's right-hand woman and the greatest torturer there is. So I'm curious to see where this is going. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, because she loves Dr. Linda, but, you know, she up off into her man.
Is Tom Welling going to be like a recurring character for the rest of the season?
Yeah, as far as I know, that because he was only slated for 10 episodes and then wanted to do more. He's, I think, scheduled for 13 to 15.
Awesome.
Yeah, so and hopefully we'll be talking to Tom Welling soon, whether it's at a film festival or in the studio.
Yeah.
Because he's, you know, really enjoying his time on Lucifer. And it's funny to see him kind of come back, because as he said, he sort of got out of the spotlight, because when you're Superman, it's kind of hard. I mean, there is the Superman curse, and it was really smart of him to kind of go away for a minute and then come back, and especially on something like Lucifer, which is a fun show. And as he said, he wanted to do more because he actually enjoyed it. And yeah.
Yeah, something dark. I mean, he's not the Man of Steel right now, so
Yeah.
he's like the first murderer ever from the Bible, which is very different.
I haven't seen Lucifer, but I will check it out, especially because I know who you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a solid show. I mean, I pay attention. I'm a shipper.
Yeah.
I pay attention to the couples on a lot of shows, so I know a lot of people are shipping like Lucy and Lucifer.
Minadale calls him Lucy. It's
Yeah,
cute.
so I pay attention to that, but I hear it's got some really awesome plots. So
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm not really a Lucifer and Chloe shipper. I still want Chloe to get back with her ex-husband Dan. I love Kevin Alejandro, who was also on True Blood. And Lucifer is in its 3rd season now. This is a show that I think they were just so happy it got past season 1, and it's sort of become the new Bones, where I think as long as they'll have it, they'll keep making it because the cast loves each other. I mean, there's been a lot of people sort of stick around when you kind of thought their characters would be played out, but because it's a family, and that's why I like the show, is everybody seems to be having a good time. Yeah.
And with those kind of shows, it feels like it gets better and better every season, especially when the cast really likes each other.
yeah, when it meshes, like Z Nation is
Yeah.
another show where everyone just seems like they're having so much fun on there, and it got renewed for its 4th season, which is awesome.
Z Nation is crazy. Who's the director of Z Nation? He follows me on Twitter, or he like tweeted me or something. I don't know what was
They
happening.
have a lot of different directors,
Yeah.
but they have. We've had like every creator and every cast member of the show in for the after show.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Katie Cullen and Megan Salinas, who do the show, they even went up to Seattle and were extras as zombies. Like,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
actually, that's what I was gonna say. Like, he reached out and was like, "If you
Yeah.
want to do some scenes," and I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah.
But I want to. I want to talk though.
Let's talk, yeah.
Been acting for a while, so let me talk.
I'm like, I would just want to be a zombie. I'm like, sweet.
Well, yeah. He didn't give me details, but
Yeah.
it kind of fizzled out. But I should kind of jump back on that.
Yeah, exactly.
especially.
And he's welcome to come in here too. We
Yeah.
talk about sci-fi all the time, and I know that we've
They
had
also
several
do
people.
Asylum, the people
Yeah.
who are connected to that, and Sharknado. So,
Oh, yeah.
because they follow me on Twitter. So, yeah, I'm always just like trying to interact, and that's one of the great things about horror too. It's like I just feel like the community is so like everyone wants to kind of swipe their stories and like their ideas and like the weirdness that the morbid minds we have.
That's true.
Oh, the melding of the morbid minds. All right, well, that is it for my news. Did you guys have anything else you'd like to add that you found in horror TV this week?
Well, I'm the new guy.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear some reality TV recaps of like celebrity ghost shows or some ghost adventures or dead files, make sure to comment below and let us know if you'd like to hear about that. Or if you just want to continue listening to the fiction shows, that's okay as well. We just want to know your opinion, so make sure to give us a little comment below.
Well, cool. All right, guys. I think that is it for Horror TV Weekly this week. I'm Lacretia Lyon, so you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one. And because of the Super Bowl this Sunday, we'll be filming on Thursday at 10 p.m. So you'll still get us for your Horror TV Weekly news. And where can they keep up the conversation with you guys?
Hey y'all, this is Chauncey K. Robinson again, and you can find me on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR and Instagram at Miss Chauncey K, and also every Tuesday on The Flash here at AfterBuzz.
There we go. I'm Lian Castillo. You can find me on all social media platforms at Hollywood Lian, and I'm actually on the Real Housewives of Atlanta panel Sunday nights at 9 p.m., so check us out.
All right, guys, that
Bye,
is
AfterBuzzers.
it. Be sure to subscribe to my podcast when it comes out, February 6th, Mrs. Brightside, and all that and more on LacretiaLion.com. Thank you, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you
you
later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.